All right. Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to the ARLnow podcast. As always, I'm your host, Lene. I've got Dan, Vernon. How's
Hey,
your week been?
Going all right. I was just dealing with some breaking news, but we are good to go.
I was excited. I was playing Dungeons and Dragons last night with some friends, and our boss called and was like, "Are you in Fairfax? We need you covering like a breaking story down there." And I was like, "I am not. Sorry." So pretty good day, all things considered.
All right. Should we just jump right in today?
Let's do it.
Let's
It's been
do
a
it.
busy week.
Yeah, it has. Our first story is the No Kings crowds protest in Arlington ahead of military parade. This is obviously referring to last week's protest.
Yeah, I hesitate a little bit about including it in this one just because like a week feels like so long ago,
No.
but these were a really big deal. Yeah, I was out there, Katie was out there, Scott McCaffrey was out there a little bit too, just like having a look at some of these things. It was like a whole day of protests, but it really came to a head along Langston Boulevard right before the military parade was supposed to get going. We had, at least according to the organizers, thousands of people out there along Langston Boulevard, basically along the whole stretch is at least what they were aiming for, all 5 miles of it in Arlington, just shouting, with their signs out. I mean, like No Kings protests around the country, basically in opposition to Trump. And as far as I can tell, most of what he stands for.
I did eventually wind up seeing some of them from my window. So
Oh, yeah.
they're out there on Langston, right over here by Falls Church. So not to tell everybody to listen to the podcast where I live, but it's a big building. You'll have a tough time finding me anyway.
How big was it where you were?
It's a pretty big building. We got a lot of people. Oh no, the protest. Yeah, it was sizable, but like as you continued along Langston, you could see like more and more at different intersections, which I think is interesting because that kind of speaks to the point of the protest, right? Is it's not just one whole massive group; it's seeing it everywhere. It's being everywhere you drive down Langston. It's not like a group of several dozen people massed on the sidewalk, but like a handful of people here, a handful of people on the next block, and the next block, and the next block. I think that kind of gets the point across.
Yeah, I thought it was a sort of unusual, like, physical way of doing a protest. Like, normally you think of a protest being like, you pack a big town square like they did down in Alexandria. It definitely made it harder to cover as a journalist, like, because there's not just a big crowd that you're going to photograph. But, I think that the point was having to do with like our proximity to DC and showing people who are going into DC, this kind of big turnout in Arlington. That was my interpretation.
I liked that it was so long because it's nice. It's kind of like inescapable, you know?
Yeah, that's what I
It's
mean.
like everywhere you go, you're seeing the message. They're really getting the message out there, like, as widespread as they can. I
Yeah.
think that's a good way to do it, honestly.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they were out there along Langston. They had people on overpasses, like all along, I think I-66, and a couple other overpasses as well. Yeah, I think that's the idea, like trying to just show how widespread this is.
Yeah, it seemed like y'all talked to a lot of people. It seems like some local Arlington politicians were there and everything.
We met Bill Nye.
That's
What?
cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. I really buried the lead there. Yeah, we met Bill Nye.
Oh my God. I'm so jealous.
How was
Yeah,
that?
he was really cool.
Nice.
He flew in from California. I don't know if he was like here for something else or like if he came for the protest, but he was like, yeah, this is like as close as I can get to DC, and he's like really fired up about it.
You like
Oh
talk to
my
him?
God.
Yeah, I talked to him. It was really cool.
That's awesome.
Did you quote him in this article?
It's further down in the story.
We should read the site sometime.
I was gonna say, like, I read it too, and I must have I must have read Bill Nye and just like
Just
passed over it. You don't even
I read
notice.
it too. We all read it. Yeah, of course, obviously. We all read it. Sure.
Genuinely did read it, and I was because one of the things that stood out to me is how many people you guys talked to, how many quotes you got.
Yeah, he was he was the first one to show up at the protest on I-66. Katie was there, and she's like, yeah, some guy on a bicycle goes past, and then he's like, is this where the protest is supposed to be? And then she's like, he must have seen like the look on my face, because he's like, okay, yes, I'm Bill Nye.
Oh my God. Is he as nice as he seems?
He is extremely nice. Yeah. I found him super easy to talk to. Like,
I was gonna say, you guys are Gen Z, so I imagine I'm like somebody saying, "I'm Bill Nye." It's like, who? Like,
Gen
no,
Z?
no.
not you guys. I
Vernon,
mean,
I think
Katie in
we're the same
particular. Katie,
age.
we're the same age, but I know like
Yeah,
Katie's younger than us by a fair amount. So
yeah.
that's why I
I
was like,
forget about that.
"I'm Bill Nye." Who?
No, everybody knows Bill Nye.
They have to. Oh my gosh. I'm so jealous.
Yeah, we knew that he was coming. I was driving there and just thinking about, y'all remember the one where he like throws like the computer off like a apartment building or something? Do you guys remember this where he just like gets to
You
throw?
watched a lot more Bill Nye than I did.
Okay.
I was not
I
a
don't
science
remember
kid,
that
so
one.
I
don't
don't know. It
can't
just
say
seemed
I
like a really
recall.
fun thing to do. I wish I'd asked him about it. Like, okay, what was like your favorite? We weren't talking about the show, but
I was a MythBusters kid. I didn't watch that much Bill Nye.
Well, I was both. I feel like Bill Nye was like the introduction as like a child
Yeah.
to Mythbusters. Like if you were into
Mm,
Bill Nye the Science Guy, when you got a little
yeah.
older, you moved on to Mythbusters.
That makes sense.
All right. Well, moving on to I guess a different sort of protest. The
Similar.
graffiti reported on dozens of Arlington signs. Dan, you covered this one.
yeah, this is a whole lot of signs, is what really struck me about this one. I mean, like, a person. So the basic of it is people writing like the word fascism underneath the stop sign, so like stop fascism. Minor vandalism. I feel like it's not that uncommon to see this sort of thing on a stop
Yeah.
signs. I see like stop eating animals or like stop
Hey, those are
genocide.
mine. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
These are all the ones I wrote. But not a legally binding confession, by the way, in case Arlington police is listening.
yeah.
But yeah,
So we
no,
all,
Talented Lane.
right. We
yeah,
know what Vernon's out doing, but Vernon, have
these
you ever
happen all the
put?
time.
Yeah. Have you ever gone around to dozens of stop signs to write
No,
"Stop
that's
eating
wild.
animals"?
That's wild. So
Yeah.
there's like they're all around Arlington County, or are they like centered in one area?
They're more on, like, around, like, Bluemont Park,
Okay.
that kinda
So
area.
here it has Bluemont, Dominion Hills, and Boulevard Manor
Yeah,
are the ones that have received graffiti
yeah.
in recent days.
Many,
How,
many stop signs.
they're talking about
Yeah.
like replacing the stop sign and the cost associated with that. Is it not easier just to like scrub off the paint or
I think that's what they're doing. Because I
right?
went
Like
Yeah.
out and I looked at some of these, and the stop signs did not look like they'd been replaced, but the graffiti wasn't there.
yeah, they were like it's several $100s to replace the stop sign, and I'm like, why are you replacing the stop sign? That's insane.
Yeah, they're not, like, chiseling it into the metal or
Right? Yeah.
anything.
Yeah. And if you want to save money, take a little bit of red paint.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Never even noticed. Just a little red paint.
not that hard to fix this problem.
I don't know. I feel like I don't know who would have reported like somebody's drawing on these stop signs. I've never seen, do you know how much graffiti you see on stop signs? Pretty much
I
everywhere. I've never been like,
yeah.
you know what? I'm going to call this in.
On the one
And
hand,
then,
I can imagine it's just like Arlington County people drive the ground being like, okay, more stuff on the stop signs.
It's
But on the other
not.
hand, I can really somebody called it in.
Somebody called it in. Yeah, somebody was out there who had cataloged all of these dozens of signs. They emailed us.
my goodness.
I admire the commitment, you know? I don't know
Yeah.
how long that took, 'cause I was driving around to these signs and, like, I did not make it through this whole list. Like, it's I don't have time for that.
I'm looking
What's
at this
yeah?
list. It's
What's
enormous.
Yeah.
what's the kind of person who would be very strict, orderly, and upset by stop fascism signs? I don't know. There's like a word for that where somebody's very attentive to the rules. And I don't. Yeah,
Oh my
can't remember what it
goodness.
is. If we keep
They
talking about this,
have
we're gonna get in trouble.
they have like a full reporting system it looks like for it online too. If you really want to double down on it.
Yeah,
Oh my
classic.
goodness.
You want to rat on your neighbors? Go ahead and fill this in.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, moving on. Soul food chain gets new life at Ghost Kitchen near Shirlington. Vernon, you seem very excited about this one.
I'm so excited about this one. There used to be a place called New Vegan up in Columbia Heights. I used to go there all the time. It was like down the block from me. So many ARLnow stories back in the day were fueled by New Vegan. There's delicious. They had crab cake sandwiches, like a vegan crab cake, obviously, mac and cheese, garlic kale. It's so good. And they closed their Columbia Heights location about like a year ago. And I was very bummed, very sad about that. But they've reopened at a few other places, including a new one right in the Arlington Alexandria border there, right on 4 Mile Run. This one's technically in Alexandria, which is kind of why they had me covering it. But yeah, so it's right up across the border. But it is a New Vegan is back. It is in this ghost kitchen. I got it for my anniversary last week, and it is still delicious.
Yeah. So it looks like you got the crab cake. How do
Yeah.
they do a vegan crab cake? Like, how do they capture that texture and everything?
It's like a soy protein. Like that's every single thing that is like a meat substitute. It's like, oh,
Mhm.
what is this? And I'm like, it's like a soy protein thing. This is like a hollow projection kind of. I don't know. It's not a like. It's that they are amazing at turning that into whatever you want to taste like, which kind of makes you
Yeah.
look at it and feel like it's almost scary, right? Where you're like it's like a scene in the Matrix where they have like pudding that tastes like chicken or something, and they're like, I've forgotten what real chicken tastes like at this point. Like that's kind of what this is like for me. I'm like, this is a really good vegan crab cake, and I'm like, it's been 10 years since I've had crab cake,
I was
actually.
just
So
gonna
I
ask the
don't.
last time you had a crab
Well,
cake.
I feel like crab cake though, a lot of it's in like the seasonings, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
Yeah, and I feel like crab, the meat itself it's very, like, sweet, so it's not, like, unbelievably flavorful, but it's more of, like, a sweet
Yeah,
flavor to it, and then just whatever you're seasoning it with, Old Bay,
Yeah.
Cajun.
yeah. You're probably not gonna get like the crab cake texture there, but like, I mean, it's pretty close, and the flavor is good. It's just a delicious sandwich. And again, highly recommend garlic kale and the mac and cheese. Mix them together. It is spectacular.
So, Vernon, I wanted to ask, you mentioned you did this for your anniversary dinner?
Yeah.
Okay, because you came into the office and you were like, "All right, I just spent $50 at
Oh,
this
yeah.
this soul food
It
restaurant."
it is uh very sorry to Ash Avishayade, who's the guy that owns it, but kind of pricey. It is an expensive spot. We got like a crab cake sandwich with a mac and cheese side, a side of garlic kale, and then another like little crab cake, not the sandwich, but like a little platter, and that was like $50, which is like a lot for
Yeah,
soul food.
yeah.
And again, if you look at the
I mean,
prices, yeah.
it's probably comparable to the price of an actual crab cake sandwich, though.
Yeah, that's fair. Also,
So
in a lot of like a lot of vegan food is like a little bit more expensive than some of the regular stuff because it's like harder to put together. All of
Yeah.
this is also
yeah.
very niche. This is not like a mass market order thing. Like these guys make this there. So yeah,
Yeah.
I mean it's worth it. It's definitely worth it, but it's not something I'm going to be getting every week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like, I mean, are there many vegan soul food restaurants? Is that much of a thing?
There, okay, so this is the whole thing. There used to be a bunch around DC.
Really?
And I didn't know they were all one chain at first, Everlasting Life, and then they split off into like 2 or 3 different franchises that all like branched out over the next few years. Because my wife and I used to love New Vegan, but we also would go to a place called Everlasting Life Cafe, amazing chicken drumsticks. And it turns out this
Ooh.
guy was like the guy who designed the chicken drumsticks. Anyway, but so it's a whole big branching out franchise of a bunch of different vegan soul food. And then over the last couple years, after like COVID, almost all of them have closed down. A lot of them were health department issues. Yeah, yeah, but a bunch of those we'd go, we like showed up. We were like, "Oh, our place is closed." And you look at it, and it's like shut down by order of the DC Department of Health. I don't know, it's still good. Whatever they were putting in there, it was still made it
They
delicious.
were
But
they were all good.
several of them were at the very least. So, but one way or another, they all kind of shut down. So it was very sad. The
I
closest
don't
one, yeah, one of the
I don't know
closest
what
ones
was
that
in that
we
special sauce, but
yeah, I don't know, but it was great. But yeah, it used to be that for my anniversary, I'd drive like an hour and a half out into Maryland to go to the last one of the cafes that was still open. in the area, and now this one's a lot closer. So that's like an hour and a half each direction. By the way, that is a long trip. So,
Yeah,
but it was
that
worth it.
is
Commitment.
It was worth it, and now there's a much closer option with the new vegan. So, very excited.
the mac and cheese looks genuinely really good.
Oh, it's spectacular. It's so good. Again, that and the garlic kale are the
Yeah,
things to get. Even if you just get the two sides, like just get those.
yeah. Did they have anything else on the menu that was like, you know, pretty unique?
Yeah, so the big thing that I'm excited for is the drumsticks. Like I called the guy that runs it, and he was like, "Yeah, I used to make the Everlasting Life Cafe drumsticks." Like, oh, those were great. And he was like, "These ones are even better." And I do not believe him, but he told me to come in next time. He told me to come in next time. He's gonna hit me up, fix me up with some just special for us. So I'm very
There
excited
you
for that.
go. Are they like deep fried or just like if it's soul
I don't
food,
know.
I
It's
have
like
to
a
assume it's deep fried, right?
yeah. It's definitely like fried, but they have like different sauces and stuff that they season it with. Like it's delicious. It's spectacular, and they're on
Oh,
little. So the nice thing is they're the soy protein, but they're on a little like wooden dowel. So it's
Yeah.
like a bone.
Oh, I know those.
Yeah,
Really? Because
they're
I've
great.
had those before. Somebody tried. I went over to somebody's house and they were like, "Oh, we're doing like a vegan barbecue, like different kinds of like vegan meats." And those chicken drumstick things were not it, Vernon. I gotta say, like the texture was all wrong.
How do I kick somebody else out of a Riverside thing? Do we the new podcast with Vernon and Lene, and that is it. Pure heresy.
haven't had a whole lot of, like vegan copycats of
You guys
stuff.
say that with
And I'm
such venom
always,
in your voice. You're like
no, I was
vegan.
trying to think of the word for it because I've had, obviously you have vegan food, but I'm thinking like meat alternatives.
Yeah.
I will say a lot of the time they look good. I saw somebody made like pulled pork out of jackfruit.
Yeah,
I was
Oh,
like,
that's
oh, I
good. I
bet
make
that's
that too.
really
yeah,
good.
that's good.
Yeah.
I make that sometimes. That one's really good. A lot of
Yeah.
I make a lot of like Chinese food, like the orange chicken, which is fake American Chinese food. But all that stuff when you get it, most of it is like you said, it's seasoning. Most of it
Hmm.
is fake stuff anyway. So the chicken at that point, deep underneath all of that, you can replace that with a soy protein. It's functionally the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
I
really
might
good
have
about
to
that
give it a
though.
try.
It is also
It does
not
look
healthy
good.
for you. That is, people are like, oh, you're vegan. Like that must mean you're like healthy, right? And I'm like, I have gained like 40 pounds since going vegan. That is not a healthy alternative lifestyle now.
That's how you're doing it right. How you
There
know.
are too many options for you.
If I make another podcast, it would be fat vegan, which is all my cooking.
Oh my gosh. All right. Our last story of the day, I'm very excited about.
Yeah,
Giant Lego model of Reagan National Airport to debut next week.
1,000 pieces. I look at this. This is insane. This is it is wild. Like there's so many. It's so complex. There's the little like air traffic controller tower there. There's like the little planes off to the side, and you see it's a huge Lego set displaying National Airport, like just massive. And you look at the outside, and I'm like, oh, this is very impressive. Like it looks just like it. And then you look at the side profiles, and all of the interior, the whole interior is built too. Like it's even got the lighting right coming in through the windows. Like it's got the little baggage carousels. You've got people checking out at the kiosks. Insane amount of detail. It's
Yeah,
wild.
that's commitment.
Baggage claim, I love that. I think that is so cute. Got their little
Absolutely
suitcases
genius.
and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah. That's so cute. But yeah, the guy who made it said it was, or Richard Paulus said it was harder than his Dulles Airport one, which is also very impressive. That was another huge airport model that he did. So it really shows that this is wild.
Hmm. So
Yeah. I mean,
this wasn't even the first time that he's made a model airport.
No, he did Dulles, which is like,
All right.
which again, insane. Like if you have a thing, I guess
Yeah.
stick to it. One of the
I
funny
know.
stories at the end of it was the guy who was in charge of taking it from this person's house, I guess, to the airport was like, we're driving on this bumpy road. And the whole time he's like, my God, it's all falling apart in the back.
Could you imagine?
I laughed at that every time you go over a bump and you hear like a plastic rattle from the back of the van of this like 150,000 piece model.
that I cannot, my large Lego sets, I build it in the room it's gonna live in
Yeah.
because I'm too scared to carry it to that room. I can't imagine transporting in a car.
Yeah, the back of a van like that.
Sorry, my dog has joined our podcast.
Yeah,
If you can see her
welcome.
in the
You're
background.
replacing Dan. I'm sure the dog would not complain about vegan chicken.
Yeah, I don't know that a dog is gonna be that much more of a fan either, but
Oh, she'll eat
Yeah,
anything. We call her the termite because she will literally eat her way through anything.
yeah, Dan. I don't think the dog's gonna have a problem.
But back to this Lego.
Yeah,
I thought it was hysterical that he got back into Legos because was it his aunt
yeah.
brought
Oh,
back all the Legos that he had
yeah.
given his
He
cousins?
he gifted his cousin Lego, and then when the kids grew up, the aunt came back to him and was like, "All right, here's all your Legos back." And he's like, "I honestly thought I was just giving these to you, but okay." I still remember the. So yeah, I know you collect Lego sets, but Dan, did you ever like build with Legos? Do you have Legos when you were a kid?
I did a little bit as a kid. Yeah.
I had a ton of Legos too, and I distinctly remember like when I gave them away to. I was like, "Oh, I'm like too old for these now. Let me give them away to somebody else." Like as soon as they were out of the house, I was like, "Should not have done that. I should."
See, I
Instant
was the
regret.
youngest. I got everybody's Legos.
Yeah.
But, like, they were, like which meant I never really got a proper Lego set. I just got, like, kind of the odds and ends that are, like, left behind.
That's gonna
But
get me kicked
sometimes
out
that's
by
the
Lena,
most
but that's
fun.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Okay, I thought I was gonna be like yelled at by the official Lego model builder here, but like that's when you're a
No.
kid, that's the most fun. Like that, I got so many Lego sets and so rarely built according to the instructions. Like I
Oh,
get
yeah.
these big sets and be most excited for the little like minifigs.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
me and my cousin had like a whole box and it was just mismatched Legos.
yeah,
And even back then, I loved Star Wars, so we would make little Star Wars vehicles, and he had the little mini, like, figurines. He had, like, Darth Vader
yeah.
and Obi-Wan Kenobi and stuff, and we'd make little ones for our Star Wars guys.
I had I had a one Christmas morning I came out and out there on the like chair set up was a Lego LAAT, the like clone trooper
Wow.
deployment ship. Oh man, that highlight of my life. That's like a top 10. Like that's just above the wedding. I'm just kidding.
Didn't get my first, like I never had actual Lego kits until I was an adult. I started doing those
Mm.
as an adult,
Yeah, like, when
and
I was a kid, we never got an actual Lego kit. Like, that was, like, if you were, you know if your family could, like, get you an actual, like, complete Lego set, we were like, "Oh, okay, you're one of those."
big
Yeah,
money bags over
Yeah, big
here.
we had
which
so
is
I
probably just
yeah,
my parents being cheapskates,
yeah.
but that was the way they presented it to me.
I grew up on military bases and we get Mega Blocks, which was the like Lego knockoff. But the problem was the Mega Blocks did not line up with the Legos. Like, so yeah, I'd get a whole mixed like box full of Mega Blocks and full of Legos, but none of the bricks would match each other.
Yeah.
You're like trying to shove them together to make it work. Yeah.
We all had to make do. I would just go to my cousins and make a mess of their house. I don't think we ever had Legos in our house, and I think that was probably by design by my mom.
Mm.
Well, that's what we're gonna do now. I'm gonna go over to your house and just play with some of the Lego sets. Yeah, we'll have a vegan barbecue and build Lego towers or whatever.
Want to know, he must have spent so much money on this because he
Nine
had to have bought,
months.
yeah,
Took him
but he
nine
had to
months to
have
build
bought like
this.
very specific pieces.
Right.
You know, you can't just get like a grab bag of it because he's like,
I have no idea how you find the right pieces for this. Or like I
Well,
know some people paint them, right?
yeah. Well, I'm just trying to think of, like, what he must have had some kind of, like, schematics for this, like, did he
Yeah.
have, like, "Okay, I need this many of this kind of block and this many of this," like, for just 150,000 piece spreadsheet?
My brain is hurting like thinking about the planning that would be required for that.
yeah,
Like
because I don't know if you guys have done Lego sets recently, but inside of like what you're seeing, it's like put together in all these different ways to make sure that it's actually secure.
Yeah.
outside of everything that you're seeing on the outside. So I can only do it because I'm given very specific instructions.
Yeah.
I can't imagine how he was able to go in and just be like,
Yeah.
"All right, this is the way that we're gonna do it."
Vernon, how long did this take this guy again? It was like less than a
Months.
year, right? 9
That's
months?
that's that's baby length. That is carrying that around for 9 months.
That's a baby length.
Honestly, I'm
That's that's
th
more impressive than a baby. This is like a that one grows on its own. You had to spend 9 months building this.
see, I'm like, if this was me, like, you could give me, like, 5 years, and I would not.
Yeah. I could spend the rest of my life with the same amount of blocks that he built, and I would
Right,
come back with, like, gibberish.
right.
And it's so
Insane.
detailed, it's to the point where I'm sure he had probably, like, tweezers to try to get these little tiny pieces in these exact right spots. I
Yeah.
mean, it's incredible.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, down to the floor tiles.
I kinda wonder what 3D printing is gonna do for these Lego sets. Are people gonna start making, like, pieces that they don't have that will be I don't know, food for thought.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Get all back. That was great.
All right, guys. I think that's all we've got for this week. Yeah, a lot of really good stories this week. So we'll see. Hopefully next week we'll have more stories, preferably about Legos.
Yeah. Lego now.
All right, guys. Talk to you
See ya.
next week.
Alrighty.